Well, we've known his campaign has been over for months, but Ron DeSantis Sunday afternoon decided to finally put a bow on it in one of his most natural-sounding speeches that I've heard the man deliver in months, whether it was just being awkward in interviews or trying to rouse the tens of people that would turn out to hear him talk. He just always seemed like he was on edge. I don't know, maybe got a little bit of vertigo from those heels that he was wearing, but Ron DeSantis finally deciding to suspend his presidential campaign. It's probably about the only thing that he can do in order to bolster anything that he wants to do outside of his final term as governor of Florida. Like, he set himself up horribly off of the back of the worst political instincts imaginable and the worst campaign managers anyone has hired. Save the Christie team, unless they got paid in leftovers. Yes, everybody else has decided to drop out, save for one person. And I think if there's any sense that's left, well, we'll probably be doing an update this time next week. I just find this very interesting because I've skimmed over this speech, and like I said, Ron actually sounds like he's, maybe even a little bit relieved that this charade is finally over, knowing that, oh God, I'm blowing up every opportunity in the future that I have right now, further distancing myself from the current trajectory of the Republican Party. Nikki Haley obviously knows the only person that's left in this, and the person who's about to get an absolute dog walking on Tuesday. She can go back and be a defense contractor again. She's just going to go ahead and make money elsewhere. But Ron DeSantis, he has a loftier political aspirations. At this point in time, the best he can probably do, wait for Rick Scott to retire and then take over his Senate spot, because his presidential aspirations, I think that he firmly put them completely and totally out of reach. There's a way that he can resuscitate his aspirations. I just think that there's a very obvious handoff point into the future when it comes to Trump creating a successor after the 2024 campaign. Because the way that he handled his suspension of his presidential campaign was far better than this in the middle of the afternoon, days after finishing 30 points behind Trump. Then you finally decide, I know I made enough money and all that stuff, and well, I got a pretty cushy job down there in Tallahassee. Might as well go do that. I guess it finally dawned on him that, the only way that you're going to make it out of Florida back onto the federal stage is, if you do a complete and total reinvention, you just go back to doing something that you were actually good at being governor of Florida, spend the rest of your days down there into 2026, try to create a legacy off of that, and then just hope that the guy that you're endorsing at the end of this, spoiler alert, gives you a spot in his cabinet in the aftermath, then lets the rest of this mudslinging and idiocy from your surrogates dissipate into the ether. But like I said, we'll listen to a little bit of this. I just got it pulled up to the point where it's like it started with 2 minutes of meandering and then he'll continue to go on. I just wanted to hear the whole I'm calling it quits, screw it, but we'll play a little bit of this here.
Now, following our second place finish in Iowa, we've prayed and deliberated on the way forward. If there was anything I could do to produce a favorable outcome, more campaign stops, more interviews, I would do it. But I can't ask our supporters to volunteer their time and donate their resources if we don't have a clear path to victory.
See the way that he's delivering this? It's obviously on a soundstage and shit like that, okay? Like, it's a very controlled environment, but, he's not having to put on any kind of a facade. This is just simply, we tried and failed spectacularly, and, screw it. I'm just going to go back to be governor, okay?
Accordingly, I am today suspending my campaign.
Suspended.
I'm proud to have delivered on 100% of my promises, and I will...
Of what? Torpedoing all the goodwill that you bolstered in the previous few years? 2023 was a bit of a wash for you, pal, but in 2022 and prior to that as well, during your first term as governor, as you were buddy-buddy with Trump, and then you tried to just simply distance yourself and then just collect all of the other never-Trump NeoCons to try to make you a new coalition. I guess maybe you delivered promises to them, but I want to hear you go scorched earth on them to the future. That'll be a part of him, resuscitating his political aspirations.
Will not stop now. It's clear to me that a majority of Republican primary voters want to give Donald Trump another chance. Yeah. They watch his presidency get stymied by relentless resistance, and they see Democrats using lawfare this day to attack him.
Oh, wow. Now you're actually going to say Trump's name in the same sentence with lawfare. Oh, it's interesting now that you aren't going to be beholden to any of your big donors, what you are more willing and free to say. Interesting.
Well, I've had disagreements with Donald Trump, such as on the coronavirus pandemic and his elevation of Anthony Fauci. Trump is superior to the current incumbent, Joe Biden.
Well, and that, and you also, whitewashing your own history on that one. Who was the one who put the restrictions in place in early April and then again in August? Was that Trump? No, oh no, that was you, Ron.
That is clear. I signed a pledge to support the Republican nominee, and I will honor that pledge.
Oh.
He has my endorsement because we can't go back to the old Republican guard of yesteryear.
Oh shit, and this is where everything gets spicy. But there was something that I missed out last week. Not because I wanted to miss out on it. It was an inevitability. Kind of like Ron DeSantis here. But talking about Vivek Ramaswamy, he had a much better suspension speech. I thought that he actually did it correctly because it was on the night of the Iowa caucuses, and he came out and went, well, screw it. Okay, you know what? Hey, I'm not going to be here. I'm not going to, hinder anybody. We need an America First candidate up there as a Republican nominee. There's only one other option that's out there. The people have spoken. He didn't have to sit on it. He didn't have to pray on it. He didn't have to go talk to his wife about it. Didn't have to get her endorsement. Didn't have to listen to her bitch and complain because she bought so many nice fucking pantsuits and she wanted to show them off. No. Vivek just went, screw it. We didn't win. Try again next time, though. Biotech entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy suspended his bid for the 2024 Republican presidential nomination on Monday and endorsed former President Donald Trump after finishing a distant fourth in Iowa's leadoff caucuses. Ramaswamy said he made the decision after determining there was no path forward for him in this race, absent things we don't want to see happen in this country. 38-year-old political novice who sought to replicate Trump's rise as a bombastic, wealthy outsider said he called the former president earlier Monday evening to congratulate him on his victory in Iowa. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis came in second. Yeah, very interesting, because we're going to take a look at some polls and some results to really wonder where the hell Nikki Haley is going and how she thinks she's going to get there. But anyways, Ramaswamy told supporters gathered at the Des Moines, Iowa hotel that Trump will have my full endorsement for the presidency. Exactly what Ron DeSantis did, but you could hear a little bit of that in the back end of his speech that we played there, and I'm not going to belabor the point. We'll just go ahead and read through some of this because I like to think that I'm maybe a little bit more charismatic than Robot DeSantis, but hey, maybe that's a little by my own hubris. You clicked on the video for me, not for old stupid Ron. Go back to Tallahassee, okay? Just continue your fight against Disney. You were at least getting a little bit popular off of that. DeSantis slams Nikki Haley as a repackaged form of warmed over corporatism and says that it's clear Republicans want to give Trump a second chance in a farewell video channeling Winston Churchill. They got the same body type, so that makes sense. Ron DeSantis slammed Nikki Haley and endorsed Donald Trump on Sunday as he ended his presidential campaign throwing his support behind the man who helped him become governor. Interesting how we're going to go ahead and wheel that out now after months and months and months of him trying to distance himself from that. But again, he wants a future in politics instead of the only viable alternative to the former president. You're saying Nikki Haley is viable? Like, get the hell out of here, okay? Unless Trump, and God fucking forbid this actually happens. Something happens between now and November. God, fucking don't. Okay, DeSantis' blessing of Trump comes 2 days after he spent time in New Hampshire questioning the former president's ability to win the general election against Joe Biden. He's seen the poll numbers and went, well, I know I have enough money to get me through Super Tuesday, because that was another round of headlines that was coming out after Iowa. It's like the DeSantis campaign has more than enough money in its war chest to continue all the way through the beginning of March. So if they want to keep up this charade, feel free. So that's why this was very interesting that he decided to drop the video on Sunday afternoon. It's like, you can go out there and spend a lot of people's money if you're so inclined. Other than that, what are you going to do with the rest of that? Interesting. But in his video, he announced that he's dropping out of the race for the GOP nomination. DeSantis noted, "It's clear to me that a majority of Republican primary voters want to give Donald Trump another chance. They watched his presidency get stymied by relentless resistance, and they see Democrats using lawfare to this day to attack him. Trump is superior to the current incumbent Joe Biden." Huh, that's clear. Well, that's the only thing that you can say about Joe Biden that's clear, because it's certainly not his thinking. "I signed a pledge to support the Republican nominee, and I will honor that pledge." DeSantis dropped out of the race 2 days before New Hampshire holds its first in the nation primary. The Florida governor was running third in the polls after his failure to win Iowa, and with Nikki Haley's home state of South Carolina up next after New Hampshire, which doesn't look any better for her. But Nikki had a couple of things to say on this. Nikki Haley says, "May the best woman win," as she reacts to DeSantis dropping out. She is really playing into these identity politics. I could pull up interview after interview after interview, and frankly, I think just for the fact that the news cycle in January has been, oh my god, glacially slow right now. If I really wanted to do a dedicated Nikki Haley video every single day about the cringe shit that she says, I could definitely do that. But feel free, if you want to go ahead and try to tighten your skin, produce wrinkles on your forehead, just go and listen to that bitch talk about herself out there. Everything is about her being brown and her being a woman, not about her being qualified, nothing about her wanting to make America better. It's just simply, I'm a brown woman in America running for president. What don't I know about this country? It's despicable. I think the South Carolina population realizes that they made a mistake back in the cut, making her the governor. But her getting her highest post as a UN delegate, okay, you know, like I said before, I've got some qualms with Trump, that chiefly among them. So what did this dimwit have to say? Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley said Sunday, "May the best woman win," as she reacted to Florida Governor Ron DeSantis quitting the presidential race. Like, I know that, like, that could be a funny quip, but I know that she's not that clever. She's the only other woman in that race, and if you want to try to take shots at Trump by calling him a chick, and you're also at the same time trying to court the trans apologetic Republicans that are out there, that's just going to come across as transphobic, so good job for you. The news came as Haley was addressing potential supporters at Brown's Lobster Pound in Seabrook. No, she was just picking up an extra shift. New Hampshire, in the state, to Governor Christie at her side. It's gonna be so great. It's going to be so great. Haley is campaigning in the Granite State after banning Daily Mail reporters and photographers from all of her events over reporting on alleged affairs. Oh yeah, the ones where she was fucking a staffer in the back of a Suburban? Oh yeah, I did a video on that one. Feel free to go check that out. It's on the channel. I did that years ago. I've hated Nikki Haley for a long time, okay? I'm an OG Nikki Haley hater. That's another big reason why I don't trust Ben Shapiro as far as I can throw him, because in his Sunday afternoon special, when I sit down with a very important person in the realm of politics, his opening salvo when he was interviewing Nikki Haley back in the cut, "My spirit animal," referred to her as his spirit animal. That is cringe on so many levels that only little Ben could deliver that statement. The former UN ambassador received cheers as she announced, yes, from the tens of people in the audience, that DeSantis has called it quits Sunday afternoon, endorsing former President Donald Trump in a video message on his way out. Yeah, that's another thing, and I didn't make mention of that, but it totally makes sense, like I said, if DeSantis hopes to have a future outside of his governorship. I kind of thought in the back of my mind, just as a parting shot, he might endorse Haley, but with the full-throated support of Trump, well, it's only a matter of time before Nikki Haley just, calls it a day. There's such a unique opportunity here for the Republican Party to marshal a united front and completely and totally steamroll November, but leave it to the GOP to get in its own way better than anybody else possibly could. I want to say to Ron, he ran a great race. Stop lying. You're not supposed to lie. He's been a good governor, and we wish him well. Having said that, it's now one fella and one lady left. No, it's not. Like, Can you not look at the fucking poll numbers that are out here, stupid? Okay, like honestly, there might be a late in the day poll that comes out just before Tuesday, but this is our most recent numbers that are out there, okay? And if you want to put that 7 points or even 5 points to Trump, he still has over 50% of the fucking vote, man, in the RCP average. Everybody has Trump over 50 in New Hampshire. Haley is gonna get donkey punched, okay? She's gonna what? What do we think? Is 70% of the vote off the table? Chances are, depending on when the results end up rolling in, it'll either be Tuesday or Wednesday. I'll be doing a follow-up video. Chances are, if it's anything like Iowa, which it really does seem that way, we'll be doing follow-up video Tuesday night when we're just going, yeah, just like Iowa, because what, 51% of the vote, Trump got 51% of the vote, Ron DeSantis, he came in second, for fuck's sakes. Nikki, why do you think you have a shot? Don't get it, because, okay, New Hampshire, you're down in these goofy polls by 15 points. South Carolina, you're getting beat like a government mule in the state you used to be the governor of. And that still has everybody else who's dropped out of the race. Asa Hutchinson, a long ass time ago. Vivek Ramaswamy, about a week ago. Christie, well, you can still hear the ripples of him dropping out of the race. And Ron DeSantis, you throw all of that support, a plurality of the support, except for Christie, because obviously, you know, his delegates are just going to go ahead and support Nikki Haley. You are looking at defeat after defeat after defeat by double-digit points all over the country. Are we expected to just keep up with this charade? Or do we just see this as the money laundering operation that it obviously is? Because guess what? The way that the media is going to take this, they kind of want to see this, because you are already starting to see what they're doing out there, because, well, they're ramping up the old 2016-2020 news cycle that Trump is literally a cult of personality, okay? And then you take a look at the rest of that dais and you realize that, oh God, if it's a cult of personality, thank God at least somebody fucking has one. But I've said it before, I will say it again. Trump supporters are Trump supporters. They will crawl through fucking glass, rock, molten lava to vote for the man. In 2020, when it was a one-horse race for the primaries, he was setting records for turnout. In the Iowa caucus, he set another record for turnout. Do you think it's going to be any different in New Hampshire? And especially the way that the Wall Street Journal, oh my God, the court cases have energized the base of the former president, the front runner. Even more in a centrist state, the GOP is clear in New Hampshire. I love that, man. They're already trying to run hit pieces, because a little bit later in this article, oh my God, see, it was so bad the last time that Trump was up there. It was really sad because January 6th happened, and that was terrible, okay? And another reason that they're big mad at that is because Donald Trump's campaign cuts off access after refusing to allow NBC News Vaughn Hilliard as designated pool reporter. Oh yeah, Trump's starting to figure this shit out, okay? He's going to be taking his campaign directly to the consumers. He's going to be cutting out the middleman and just leaving the media to hang out in the wind. You love to see it. You love to see everybody get behind the one man that can put this shit back on the fucking rails. Now, if we can just all get together this Tuesday and cheer on Donald Trump beating one more woman, I think there's a chance for the GOP to do something very special this year. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.